Welcome to the Nutton Homestead. It has been 2 weeks since I did the reset on the upper garden, and I thought I would take you along and show you the growth and the progress that it's made. Initially, when I planted this 2 weeks ago today, I picked this end of the garden as it narrows as it goes up. I picked this end for the pumpkins and squashes because there'd be more room to sprawl, and I interplanted beans just to try and give a little bit of a nitrogen boost. And the pumpkins, for the most part, seem to be doing okay. I got 2 healthy looking ones. Probably need to take a look at this here. See if something's eating it. Got some holes in it, so obviously something's eating it. The cannellini beans are all doing well, and again, it looks like something is eating it. I have to check that out, what that is. Get ahead of it before it becomes a problem. I was hoping that they would be developing at a point where the insects have already gone by. So everything looks pretty good. So this row is the inner Swartz squash, and every one of them germinated and is growing. Here's the Blue Lake beans. Now they're not doing so good. I think the next day or so I'll drop some more seeds. Don't know why they're not popping up. There's a couple, but not like it should be for being beans. They should have been popping up right away. And then Golden Hubbard squash, all but one. My mixed beans are doing okay. There's definitely something out here still chowing on them. So I have been not paying a whole lot of attention other than coming out and seeing if there was any weeds growing up in the holes that we burned through, and there hasn't been. And it's been either watering or it's been raining. But apparently I need to come down here and see what's eating my leaves. Acorn squash. Doesn't look like anything popped up there. More cannellini, doing okay. And the zucchini, they all look good. Not the zucchini, I'm sorry, the butternut squash. They're doing good. This one here is the one that we saved, the plant that we didn't pull up. And I got 3 on there, and they're all doing well. Then we have eggplant. This is the first time I've planted any eggplant. Cayenne peppers. Looks like one of them might have died off. We had some pretty harsh rains and winds two nights of the last 5 nights, and I need to reset my drip hoses. Looks like some of them blew right out, got pulled right out. It was pretty severe winds and rain yesterday, especially. Another zucchini row. Good. I'm excited about having more zucchini. We still need to put the cucumbers in. It's just been a time that me and Rick can do it together because I got to put up a fencing for it. It doesn't look like my tomatoes took at all, so I'll be reseeding those because I still have time. I'll be reseeding those. I'm hoping that I can get 8 more plants going there before the frost. If I don't, I'm still doing okay with what we have had with the first part of the season. My okra, I mean, they're not producing like they were last year. They're producing, they're just not as much or prolific as last year. And I dare to say last year at this time, these plants were taller than I am. We got some patty pan, those were an afterthought, and jalapenos. which I'm hoping for more of. Gonna take you down to the lower garden. When we reset the upper garden, we didn't do anything with the lower garden. So basically all I've been doing down here is if I've needed carrots, which it's been like a week in, and let me turn it around so you can see the weeds. This is what happens when you don't weed in 2 weeks. So I've been coming out and harvesting the tomatoes, harvesting peppers, because I'm making salsas and I'm making pizza sauce. So I've been harvesting what I need, but I haven't really done a whole lot. The next garden that goes in here, which will probably not be this fall, probably be in the spring, will also have ground cover. And then hopefully it'll be cleaner looking, better producing garden. Sweet potatoes, they're spreading. I'm pretty excited about that. The last ones I planted are looking a little sparse, but up here they're spreading. Hopefully there's lots of potatoes in there. That would be cool. I'm getting a lot of split tomatoes because of the heat and then the rain. So as soon as they split, this sort of thing happens. I've still been able to. I'm guessing probably about 5 to 8 pounds every couple days, but that's going to start slowing down. I'm guessing that most of the people in my area have already stopped harvesting tomatoes. A couple years ago, I was buying honey from a farm stand across town, and I noticed that there were no tomatoes for sale, and I was telling the guy that I was really struggling with my tomatoes, and he says, oh, we stopped about 2 weeks ago. It gets to a point where they just struggle so hard we just quit. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I felt a little bit less of a failure. This is like an expansion of my potted garden. I started it last week. I put down ground cover and then I covered with pine needles. This is so I can have more room to put herbs that need more full sun and to have just expand my herbs. This area where the grass is was really a pain in the butt to mow, because to mow and to have it look nice, you actually had to move all the pots because the grass was as tall as the pots. So this will hopefully eliminate a little bit of, I don't know, yard work, so that I can just have my garden expanded. And my plan is to continue on down this hill, which is also very awkward to mow. Continue down here with the ground cover and pine needles. I think it will look really nice when it's done. I'm still working on weed suppression down here. Been covering up with cardboard. This is kind of a mess. Looks like a dump site right now. Been covering up with cardboard. And the reason why it looks the way it does right now is because of that storm we had last night. But I'll eventually be working at least part of the way down the driveway. And this is where I'll be putting a lot of my herbs and things like elderberry bush, things that require more than a pot, which is where they started off, that need the ground so the roots can run deep in it and flourish. So this is like an ongoing project. I'm hoping in the next week or so I'll start dropping some ground cover over some of this where the grass has been killed off, and just continue till generally this whole area around the raspberry bush and the butterfly bush over there will be more herbs and things that grow tall or need room for their roots. I was able to work on this a little bit for a couple of days, just trying to make some progress on it instead of just looking out my kitchen window and seeing what looks like a dump site. So I put a little bit of time into it, as I don't have to pay too much attention. The garden's not taking up a whole lot of my time right now. I started off by pulling up some of the cardboard just to see how much of the grass had died off and how easy it was going to be able to lay the cloth down. And then I pulled up the little fence that I have going around and supporting my blackberries, and then got the mower in there just to try to mow some of the tall grass that had grown in underneath of those blackberries. And I laid down a couple of the strips of the ground cover, and I kind of at a standstill with that. I'm waiting for more lawn staples. I didn't want to put down a whole bunch just to have it blow around with our next storms. We've been having a lot of storms every night again. And then I just redistributed some of the cardboard onto other parts where I didn't have it. I've only been adding cardboard when I actually get boxes in the mail, so I just only can do what I can a little bit at a time. That's it for the garden update for today. We'll do another garden update next week. And in the meantime, I'll try to figure out what's eating my leaves and stop it before it becomes a real big problem. Thanks for joining me today. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and follow us. It helps our channel. Be a blessing and be blessed.